Hey, welcome back to the Weekly Word Outdoor Adventures. It's another cold day as we close out February here, and that wind is closing on us fast that you can get out and enjoy the deep and dense woods, bushwhacking around off trail and off the roads. I guess you can still do it in the summertime, but it wouldn't be much fun. But that's what I like to do in the winter, get out here and search around where nobody else goes. I'm looking for a lost grave today. We're down here very near Quinn Springs campground. Highway 30 is right behind me. I had read something several years ago, prowling around in some old archives of all the graves of Polk County, Tennessee. And it just struck me when I read this entry, I thought, I've never heard of that. I drive by here at least 8 times a week. But it was about a salesman's grave who had drowned in the Hiwassee River. And the entry didn't have a name for him, just said salesman who drowned in the Hiwassee River, buried on the roadside bank at Quinn Springs. So I've been out here walking the banks of Highway 30 and trying to explore some of these other old roads that could have been there over 100 years ago, and seeing if I could see anything that looked like a grave marker, which could have been a rock back in those days, or sometimes they put up a wooden one that wouldn't have still been here, but sometimes they actually just buried people in a mound of rocks, but I couldn't see anything like that either, so he's probably lost forever. But just because he's lost to me and I can't find him, who knows, even the road might have taken him out when they widened it. They probably didn't know about him either. But just because I can't find him don't mean that God don't know where he's at. It makes you wonder about that salesman. They didn't know his name to put in the entry book. As I was walking around out here looking for him, I thought, wonder what his family thought. He may have just been somebody that never showed back at home again, back in the days when it was rough out trying to make $1, and they thought he ran off and left them, but he actually had drowned, and people didn't know who he was and buried him. But God knows who he was and who he is. And God knows exactly that spot, even though we can't find it anymore. God knows where his body is resting at, and it's sacred to God, just like your loved ones' graves are sacred to God. And the reason they're sacred to God is because God loves them, and God loves you. We serve a God who loves us not because of who we are, but in spite of who we are. Now, God still hates. What's he hate? He hates sin. Not the people who sin, he hates sin, because sin is harmful to those that he loves, the human beings created in his image. And if you'll ever let that sink in, that God loves you in spite of yourself, what that does, it makes you love God back. We'll never understand it, we'll never comprehend it. The Apostle Paul said he couldn't comprehend the love of God. But over in John's epistle, he said that we love him because he first loved us. So we just reciprocate that love that God gives us back to God and to other human beings that God loves too. And if that ever sinks into your soul, that's a life-changing thing. It'll make you want to avoid sinning because you know that offends God, and you don't want to offend the one that you love and the one who loves you so much. But anyway, just remember that God loves you, and let it sink in. I'm going to explore around a little bit more here. If I find anything, we'll put it on the video, but I'm about to give up. He's probably long gone to anybody except for the good Lord. See you next time on the Weekly Word.